Hi, this is Bobby Tewksbury from TewksHitting.com. Welcome to our second episode of the My Swing video analysis series. Today we're looking at Sammy from Texas. He's 9 years old, and we're going to also include some Zepp analysis today. So if you have a Zepp swing sensor and you've got some data, you've got some 3D swings, you need help understanding them, we're going to talk about some things that you can start looking at to help understand your swing better. So hopefully this helps you. Let's dig into the video. So Sammy is 9 years old. He reports that for strengths and weaknesses, he's got some fast hands for his age, up to 30 miles an hour on the max hand speed, which is pretty solid. He's making good contact. He can hit fast pitching in the cage, and rarely strikes out. Doesn't always hit the ball square. Often hits high fly balls. So let's take a look at what's going on. I'll get this out of here. I've got some guys we're going to be looking at: Gary Sheffield, Ted Williams, Miguel Cabrera, and then one more secret hitter towards the end. So just let this play real quick. We just got 30 inches of snow here, so I wish we could go outside and hit. I like that this device has some timing aspects to it. Obviously overhand hitting is probably better, but seated overhand or standing overhand BP is ideal. But if this is a way to get good reps, then make the most of it. So this is where the video starts, and we can see right away there's some dropping. The barrel's getting really low, pretty much below the hands. Elbows are very close together. Hasn't gotten too much of the hips to lead when the elbow's really down. So we're not in the best of positions here. So we'll keep looking at these a little lungy, getting into contact with kind of a soft front side, meaning the front leg there. Let's keep looking. So we got kind of cool because you get to time the pitch up. Stuff we talked about in the first analysis, where we don't want the hitter getting stacked up over this back foot. When you get over this back foot, your weight has to then get off the back side. So you have to really work to not shift over the back leg. We're trying to keep a good angle, and we'll look at that with some hitters. We can pull up Cabrera right here just as a comparison, where when he kind of has like this walk back move with his front foot, and this is something that, again, I love emulation of the best hitters. Cabrera is probably the best on the planet right now. So if you watch kind of how this back leg works, his head positioning relative to that back leg, as he's getting his kind of prep move in, when he takes weight off this front foot, I'll put the mouse right on his back hip. He doesn't go back, and he's got this good angle from the head all the way to the back foot. Where with Sammy we see some shifting back. Again, this is his prep move. So a little too much stacked on this backside. Head isn't ahead of his back leg the way that we see with Cabrera, and honestly the style's not all that different in terms of the leg lift. It's just he's getting to a different spot because of his shift back. From here, this is something that is extremely typical of youth hitters. Hands are probably too high at this point in the swing, and the barrel just does this free fall. So the barrel's going down, barrel's going down, barrel's going down. And then he's got the barrel kind of even with his hands early. Gets into a pretty good kind of impact position with that. Looks like he can drive the ball. I would imagine he's got some power and can move the ball a bit. But again, we see a little bit of that elbow, maybe getting ahead of the hands on some of these. But we've got this free fall of the hands, free fall of the barrel, which means we're not getting resistance. We're not creating a timing mechanism with our load. He's got his hands up high, and then he kind of drifts, and then decides to swing kind of around here, where when we look at somebody like Cabrera, his hands have to work back, the barrel is going to start working back. So the hands, if we look at when the front foot is landing, which is always a pretty good checkpoint, when the front foot's coming down, again, you just throw the mouse right next to the hands. You can see the hands are lowering, as the foot lands. So it's kind of just an indicator of the resistance getting created in the swing, versus Cabrera, where when his front foot is landing, his hands are working kind of up, the barrel's working back, and this is where he's getting on plane. This is where he's creating depth. You can see he's got some heel release on that front side. I'm sorry, on the rear foot. So he's just getting to some different angles. I feel like, Sammy, you look a little collapsed right here, and I hope that word, you can kind of feel that word where your arms are kind of close together and you're just kind of not creating the best angles. When you get the elbows too close like this, something that's very, very common is the bat will be kind of laid off into the hitting area, which means the angle of the bat stays open as you move through the zone, and then at the last minute kind of flips over. So you get a lot of balls that are hit to right field kind of weakly, and then if you do pull the ball, it's usually hooked. It's usually kind of coming around it. So in that last swing, we've got some, I guess, some balance issues, it looked like, but we're seeing that same pattern. And this is very typical. Usually, you know, when I'm looking at one swing of a hitter, you're getting an understanding of what they're doing pretty quickly. A couple swings, you see what their pattern is, you understand how they move. So again, front foot's coming down, hands are lowering. Lead arm action isn't too bad right there. We get a little bit of movement there, which is good. A lot of kids will just keep that front arm kind of locked down, and just kind of falling off balance. So let's pull up some Zepp right now. So these are the Zepp numbers we're looking at, and you can really see that that free fall is really captured. Some people that are having some errors or some trouble gathering accurate swing information, mess around with the settings of where the load is, mess around with that angle, because sometimes it'll start to capture at the wrong time. Also make sure that the device is secured on the knob and not moving around. Sometimes the knob will move, the thing that holds the device onto the bat will kind of twist and move around, and then you get some really funky readings. You get some swings that look like they might be upside down. So play with the settings, figure out where your load will best show up, and make sure it passes the eye test. If it doesn't look like what you're getting, adjust the settings. It's still new technology, so the hardware is good, the software is going to continue to get better, and that's why I'm excited about it, because it really does measure things that weren't able to be understood or captured before. So again, so we got about 60 mile an hour bat speed. This is a low pitch that he hit, so when the pitch is low, you're going to see this this negative bat angle, which means the tip of the bat is lower than the hands. It's not a problem. If your bat is level with the hands, I would expect the pitch to be high. On a low pitch, I wouldn't even mind seeing a lower vertical angle there, a greater negative angle. And I'll include a clip of Josh Donaldson, a snapshot from his Zepp, because I know he had a lower pitch in his analysis. And then we get the attack angle of 3. When that barrel drops, the elbows get close. It's a spacing issue. So we'll go back to the first swing. When we're coming into this ball, this one looks like it was a little more upward, but when you get those elbows to get kind of close together and everything's kind of pulling, it can be extremely flat through the zone. It's hard to create the right tilt with the body, because the arms are folded next to each other, so the shoulders aren't going to tilt as much. And again, tilt isn't that bad. You're going to need to see some tilt. Let's look at some overhead. So this is one of my favorite views when using Zepp. I really recommend using this overhead view. It's something you can, I know that it can kind of give you immediate feedback. You put either your phone or your iPad right next to you when you're hitting off a tee or getting some soft toss, and you can take a swing and it's going to load up right away. And what we're going to look at here, I'm going to draw an arrow, make it yellow, so we can see it. So I like to look at the kind of the overall shape of the oval as a way of capturing swing direction. So I see his overall swing direction being to the pull side. And I'll throw up another overhead of either Donaldson or David Ortiz, and we'll see more of a direction. You see this oval that's going, we would want it to be more through the middle of the field. So just check the overall shape where it's kind of orientated towards the left there. And we don't want that. We want things to be moving through the middle. And this to me is where, when I talked about the bat being laid off, as it's coming into the zone in this section, that ball to right field, the bat's not going to really close, and then it closes really, really fast towards the end. It has to do with the angles of your arms and how you're getting into those positions. So those are some really good ways to look at it. We get some visual confirmation on that drop. So the big fix here is we need to change your sequence a bit. And I'm going to recommend for you to do some emulation drills. And I got a couple hitters. Cabrera is a great one to work with. We'll go back to this swing. Don't let this shift happen. We've got the kind of these trees in the background. You can see yourself work away from that. You're getting mostly over this back leg. We don't want to see that. There's a look with, I'm going to pull up Gary Sheffield now because he's another one with huge actions. There's a look of getting back, but we don't want to go back. So I wish this clip starts sooner, but I don't have the beginning frames. But as he's lifting his leg, again, we can put the mouse right on his nose for a checkpoint. He's not going back. If anything, when that leg is lifting, he's got a little forward creep going. Look at where his bat's getting to. Look at how low his hands are. A lot of coaches are afraid of this, but what I see most often is if the hands start high, they start to drop, and they're going to lower at the wrong time. If they start low, you're trying to promote a positive reaction from that. So you start the hands low and you don't feel comfortable and strong from that position, so that'll help promote the hands to start working back up. Another hitter who had the hands pretty low, Ted Williams. Again, watch the head not go back. Got some cool leg action in that clip. But again, look at how low his hands are. Let me flip him real quick. Make him a righty, make it a little more applicable. So again, look at your hand position, look at his hand position. Could also afford to bend the knees a little bit more, just get an athletic position. It's hard to create this angle. Again, you can see head to the foot, almost straight up and down. Head to the foot, I don't know what that angle is, but we've definitely got some angle. It's not straight up and down. His bat is straight up and down with his leg. I'm not saying you need to do that, but just for a reference point. So that's Ted Williams. Try this load. Try to get the hands down a little bit and see if that can promote some hands coming back up, and see if we can get that bat to stay a little higher and not get that collapse with the arms, because that's kind of how you're creating lag right now. And it's good that you're creating lag, and that's probably going to give you some power and ability to impact the ball. So this is my secret hitter, this Mel Ott. I love showing this clip because people do not believe that this is real. Obviously, game's changed a bit. You can look at the catcher. He's not quite ready for a 98-mile-an-hour fastball or anything. But this guy was small. I think he was listed at 5'7", 511 career home runs. A little helped with the field that he played at, but this guy still had Hall of Fame career. And look at his swing. Look at this. So this is an exaggeration drill that we do, and sometimes you need to kind of go to extremes to feel new things. If you keep trying to do the same thing, you're not going to make any changes. And when you make changes, they're going to feel different. They're going to feel probably weird, and a lot of kids feel, when they feel something weird, they think it's wrong. Try to envision what Mel Ott's Zepp's 3D mapping would look like with his hands. I mean, they have to work back up. It looks like he touched the knob to his front thigh almost. So his hands have to come back up from there. And the sequence of that is pretty positive, and that's where he's getting his lag from. His lag is his barrel working deeper later. So this is all happening later. The hands are staying up better because they're not free falling the whole time. So I'll stop there. I've already gone longer than I intended, so hopefully that's helpful. Please let me know what you think. If anybody has questions about Zepp, please let me know. I'm excited about what they do. I'm excited about what's coming in the future from them, and really all the technology that's out that's really coming. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Looking forward to getting some more info out there and sharing this information. If you want to submit your swing, make sure you click on the link to submit your swing, and you'll be considered for the next My Swing episode. Thank you very much, and look forward to tracking your progress. Take care.